পারে দেখেন আমার বাড়িটা নর্মাল হচ্ছে না সরকার আগে দিতে হবে এই উদ্দেশ্য তাদের হয়ে গেল আর আমি না না এটা কালেকশনও আমি দিচ্ছি
লিখতে দাও ওনাকে ওনার পত্রিকার সম্পাদক লিখবেন খুব জ্ঞানী মানুষ পড়াশোনা করে তো কেমন আছো এখন And I get it one so I realized like when it comes to cash medicine প্রথম কবিতা হ্যাঁ প্রথম কবিতা 2012 সালে এটা হচ্ছে সেকেন্ড কবিতা এটা ছাপানোর টাইম হয় না তো এই এক সময় ছাপিয়ে দিই তুমি আমাকে
doesn't deserve that. It deserves to. আপনি আমাকে বলার পরে আমি
এইটা হচ্ছে আপনার কবিতা
আরো
না যদি খায় আমাদের লেখার বিষয়
লেখার বিষয় নয় আমাদের মনে যে ইমেজটা আছে তার সম্পর্কে শুধু তো বাংলাদেশ না পশ্চিমবঙ্গ সবার মনে যে ইমেজটা আছে আমি সেই ইমেজটা ধরে রাখতে চাই হ্যালো
ওদের ব্যাগ খেলা আমাদের
ইয়াং জেনারেশন নানান ধরনের আছে কিন্তু একদল তো খুবই মানে কমিউনিজম তো শেষ হয়ে গেছে
বাংলায় লিখে
কেন বেরিয়ে আসছে ভালো তো ভালো সরি স্যার মিলতে হবে মানে যা দেখা যাই আসছে আমি কিন্তু এখনকার মেম্বারদের আমি আমরা তিনজন হতে পারে হ্যাঁ এখন হবে
আপনাদের সকলকে আমন্ত্রণ জানাচ্ছি আন্তর্জাতিক সাহিত্য সম্মেলন 2015 এই অধিবেশন। Welcome to all guests, participants, and audience. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. আজকে এই অধিবেশনে এই সময়ে সাহিত্য কবিতা এ বিষয়ে মূল প্রবন্ধ উপস্থাপন করবেন কবি মোহাম্মদ নুরুল হুদা। মুক্ত আলোচনা হবে এরপর। অনুষ্ঠানে সভাপতিত্ব করবেন কবি আসাদ চৌধুরী এবং সঞ্চালনা করবেন অধ্যাপক ফখরুল আলম। আমি বিনীতভাবে অনুরোধ করছি তাদেরকে মঞ্চে আসন গ্রহণ করার জন্য। বিশিষ্ট কবি মোহাম্মদ নুরুল হুদা, অধ্যাপক ফখরুল আলম এবং কবি আসাদ চৌধুরী, তাদেরকে বিনীত অনুরোধ করছি মঞ্চে আসন গ্রহণ করার জন্য।
সবাইকে শুভেচ্ছা জানিয়ে আজকে আমাদের সকালের অনুষ্ঠান এবং প্রথম অধিবেশন শুরু করতে যাচ্ছি। আমাদের আজকের প্রথম contemporary writing with special emphasis on poetry. I would like to introduce poet Nurul Huda, who is going to present his paper on the poetry of Bangladesh. The Bangladesh Writers Club and Kuvita Bangla. So I would like to invite
of its people, having diverse origins, immensely imaginative, fanciful, and lyrical. The mystic poets called Bauls bear a testimony this assumption. This may also be considered as one obvious reason why a poetic fervor pervades its countryside and urban areas even in these highly technology-dominated days of the 21st century. Grown out of a poetic dream, Bangladesh is also endeared as a land of poets and poetry. Although no formal survey has been conducted, the number of practicing poets these days may run to some thousands. These we can guess from the number of poets attending a recurrent annual event entitled National Poetry Festival held in February, the month of language movement. The 29th festival just concluded yesterday. However, a conservative estimate based on the representative anthologies of published books limit this number to some hundreds only. When we refer to the term poetry of Bangladesh, we identify the published poets in the main. These trends belong to Bengali poetry in general, starting from its earliest specimen in Chorchapada, first discovered in the Royal Court of Nepal nearly 1,000 years back. The unbroken tradition of Bengali poetry continued till the partition of Bengal in 1947, when the entire subcontinent was split into a number of independent states. Today's Bangladesh was once called East Bengal, and its nature and lifestyle somehow differed from West Bengal, now forming a province of India. Despite these dissimilarities, the tradition of Bengali poetry between these two neighboring regions is identical in many respects. Undeniably, language is the binding uniformity of the two. But new political consciousness, milieu, Social changes, economic uncertainty, and dialectical differences have generated significant variations in the content and diction of poetry in these two regions, having a geographical continuity since antiquity. The first and foremost dissimilarity was generated by language movement in 1952, after which cultural and political nationalism came into being for the people of Bangladesh. The land and its people dreamed of a sovereign state in the image of a mother. This mother emerged as the most striking image in the poetry of Bangladesh immediately after the partition of the subcontinent. And the final division was triggered by the blood-smeared liberation war of the country in 1971. The war liberated the country called Bangladesh and gave its poetry numerous metaphors, such as guerrilla, freedom fighters, grenades, flaming flowers, flowered steel, and so on. However, these are the broad-based outlines of differences in the contemporary Bengali poetry of Bangladesh and West Bengal. On the contrary, the diction and style of the poetry on both regions are almost homogeneous, since these are direct descendants of the kind of modernity shaped by the avant-garde poets of 1930s, mostly considered as the architect of post-Tagore modernity in Bengali poetry. At the same time, it will be carefully noted that, like every individual poet, every region has its own distinctive features that largely govern the emergence of a poetic metaphor of new kind. The individual talent and aptitude of the poets also shape a new language for them. Dependent on these aesthetic factors, poetry in Bangladesh has devised its extraordinary outfit over the last 63 years, starting from 1952, which is thought to be the beginning of new poetry, searching out roots of the nation called Bengali and the nation-state called Bangladesh. There is a popular tendency of evaluation of poetry on decade-wise division, following a similar practice in English and Western poetry. The history of Bangladesh poetry, too, may conveniently be divided into a number of interconnecting decades as of its unique trends. The earliest one is 1940s, a decade of transition, so to say, that produced some significant poets like Ahsan Habib, Abul Hussain, Sayyid Ali Hassan, Sikandar Abu Jafar, Farooq Ahmad, Ashraf Siddiqui, and others. The list will be longer, but I have given only a few names. They are also important for the fact that they represented a period of conversion between the long-standing Bengali poetry and the emergence of new poetic trend of root. Contemporaries include Ahsan Hafizur Rahman, Alauddin Al-Azhar, Abu Jafar Ubaidullah, Al-Mahmud, Sayyid Shamsul Haq, Azizul Haq, Shaheed Qadri, and others. Now, I must add a sentence about Sayyid Shamsul Haq, because after Shamsul Rahman, we have seen a new kind of poetry emerging in Sayyid Shamsul Haq with a new diction, new metaphors, etc. They identified themselves with the evolving history of Bangladesh. Let us quote a few lines from Shamsul Rahman. Freedom you are, Rabindranath's evergreen verses and timeless lyrics. You are Kazi Nazrul shaking the shaggy mane, a great-souled man in the green of creative exaltation. Translation by Kaisar Rahman. Amazingly, Rahman has made apt use of two of our most noted predecessors, Rabindranath, the writer of our national anthem, and the writer Kazi Nazrul Islam, our national poet. The history is reflected in Rahman's poems with an aesthetic mix of both the maestros. This is also true of our finest poets in this decade and beyond. Next, there came the poets of 1960s, the most dominating decade in our poets as of today. They heralded a number of aesthetic revolts against traditional poetic frames and tried to introduce postmodern tendencies as far as possible. To them, poetry became symbolic, expressionistic, impressionistic. Works of this decade include, among others, Abdul Mannan Sayyid, Rafiq Azad, Asad Chaudhary, Muhammad Rafiq, Nigol and Nigun, Abul Hassan Mahadev Shah, Habibullah Shirazi, Ushim Shah, and others. These poets also tried to redefine the history of their nation-state in their unique poetic expressions. The decade of 1970s is largely an extension of experimentation in form and content in the wake of a first disintegrating society and politics in the post-liberation Bangladesh. The poets of these decades are closely related with the poets of 1960s in their outlook towards revitalizing the contemporary poetry. Apart from political scenario, new artistic frames around the globe, including massive realism, were generated in their works. However, highly nationalistic outlooks also continued in the poets like Rudra Muhammad Shahidullah, who met with a premature death. Other significant names in this decade include Abid Azad, Shihab Sharkar, Kamal Chaudhary, Abu Hassan Shahriar, Asad Manhatri, Tridib Dustidar, Nasima Sultana, and others. Poets in the subsequent decades, 1980s, 1990s, 2000s, till the end of 2014, are varied and numerous. They are the potential architects of new poetry in Bangladesh, trying to discover a new idiom for them. In so doing, the most visible experiment they are seemingly entangled with is the introduction of an open-ended prosaic utterance in the state of a formal poetic structure in regular metrical or lyrical arrangements. Poets who are noteworthy in this experiment are many, but a few of them may be mentioned, such as Qandari Shah Hussain, Muhammad Sadiq, and others. Of late, a tendency of lyric poem, also, along with coining indigenous words from different dialects and community-based folk life, is also visible. These are all good signs for a new take of the poetry in Bangladesh. Let us now briefly sketch some remarkable features of the poetry of Bangladesh since its renewed journey in 1952 has undergone some interlinked phases of contextual and stylistic transformation. Number one, the main focus is undeniably the reconstruction of our national history with its land, people, and a sovereign nation state stemming from the uniqueness of our mother language, culture, and anthropological roots. Two, at the same time, this poetry has maintained a close relation, somewhere or other, with almost all the dominating poetic trends in the West, including modernism, postmodernism, or continuous modernism, or metamodernism. Next, the language it has used has picked up some new metaphors or images from time to time, say from the Liberation War of 1971, but the major narrative, expressive style, is still an extension of that of the 1930s. Next, at times, poets seem to have played the role of a prophet, signaling the change in the society, but in most cases they have expressed their reaction on a past occurrence. The transition of rural, nostalgic, and mystic form of poetry to define our vanity is visible in most of our poets. Side by side, ethnic, national, global, transcultural, and multicultural issues are constantly pouring in. However, no traditional issue such as love, hatred, war, revenge, violence, or peace is out of circulation. Cumulative efforts by the new generation heralding the revolt in regional magazines of different sizes and viewpoints are going on in all the major district towns and capital city Dhaka. Poetry festivals are being organized by big and small associations around the country, including National Poetry Council, in a bid to popularize poetry and poetic activities. The message of poetry for human beauty is largely accepted by a majority of poets as reconciliation between life and ours. Poetry is being studied, practiced, and applied quite consciously, and a movement of conscious poetry has been launched by a group of new poets very recently. People mostly believe that poetry can do something as an instrument of possibility and optimism. That was the slogan of Jatiyo Kavita Parishad this year, which is why it is almost an obsessive craze among the emerging generations. And in fact, creativity is largely poetry dominated in Bangladesh. However, as a practicing poet of this time, I personally feel that poetry renews itself coming in contact with newer talents able to scan the message and temperament of a new time. The growth of new poetry is mostly determined by collective literary movement as well as individual efforts of making oneself wholly different. Contemporary poets of Bangladesh are well aware of this reality. That is why many poets of the first decade of the 21st century are also found revitalizing their poems with a traditional form like sonnet pattern. It is not rejection of the known technique, rather reworking of its structure, that the outfit of the creative work is reinvented. Poetry in Bangladesh also seems to advance towards this direction. This makes us optimistic about the emergence of new poetry in the land of Michael, Tagore, Nazrul, Jivanananda, and Joshimuddin, the unending fount of all our poetic pursuits. Thank you for your attention.
আপনাকে অনেক ধন্যবাদ। এখন আমাদের মুক্ত আলোচনা। আপনারা যেহেতু আমরা দেরিতে শুরু করেছি, আমার মনে হয় যে আমরা যদি প্রশ্ন করি সরাসরি খুদা ভাইকে, কিংবা যদি কমেন্ট করি, ব্রিফ কমেন্টস যদি করি তাহলে সবচেয়ে ভালো হয়। We will now open the floor for discussion, and if you'd like to ask Mr. Huda any questions, or if you'd like to comment on his presentation, could you please do so? What I would like you to do is identify yourself and try to be as brief as possible, whether you ask questions or make comments, since we are running late already. Thank you. যদি প্রশ্ন থাকে করুন, কিংবা কিছু বলার থাকে, আপনাদের কমেন্টস থাকে, মন্তব্য করতে চান। Hans Hader.
Very beautiful exposition of modern trends in Bangladeshi poetry. This has been very beautiful and we are rewarded. Thank you.
কবিদের পক্ষ থেকে সুন্দর একটি প্রবন্ধের জন্য কবি মোহাম্মদ নুরুলহুদাকে ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি। আমি প্রথম ভেবেছিলাম যে বিষয়টা নিয়ে আমি একটু খটকা লেগে এই সময় সাহিত্য, আমি মনে করেছিলাম যে পৃথিবীব্যাপী এই সময়ের যে কন্টেম্পোরারি সাহিত্য হচ্ছে, এখন যেটা শুনলাম সেটা আমার মনে হলো যে আমাদের বাংলা সাহিত্যের উপরে। যাই হোক, আমি আমার ব্যাপার ক্লিয়ার করছি। যাই হোক, আমার মনে হয় কি আরো কিছু রিপ্রেজেন্টিং কিছু নাম থাকলে মনে হয় ভালো হতো, যারা এই প্রবন্ধে যারা আরো কিছু প্রতিনিধিশীল কবির নাম থাকলে আমার মনটা আর একটু ডিটেলসে আর একটু যদি যাওয়া যেত, আমার মনে হয় সময়ের ব্যাপার ছিল মনে হয়, সেটাই আমি শুনছি। ধন্যবাদ। আমি ঠিক ওইভাবে প্রশ্ন নয়, এটা আমার একটা জিজ্ঞাসা নুরুলহুদা ভাইয়ের কাছে।
জিজ্ঞাসা আমি এই বিষয়টি anthology, representative anthology of poetry of Bangladesh, you'll find poets are not more than 100. So these are published poets. Okay, that list, if I give here, it will be a long one. And if I want to describe the trends, all the trends in details, it will take more than 20 pages and more than 1 hour. That's why I have to limit it this way. But your comment is excellent, and I will try to make it, develop this essay into a full essay. Thank you very much.
Since we are very privileged to have a very international group of writers with us today, as well as our own distinguished writers, outstanding writers from Bangladesh, we will now like to hear from them. আমি প্রথমে আমন্ত্রণ জানাচ্ছি Maria Ellen Barrera. I'd like to request Maria Ellen Barrera, who's from Ecuador. She is based in New York, and she has done extensive research on Nazrul and translated Nazrul. She has a book on Nazrul's poems in English, and I would like to invite Maria to open this part of our program.
I'd like to start my intervention this day thanking the Bangla Academy and thanking the Bangladesh people for the lovely reception that we have had in this wonderful country. It's for me an honor, and I am humbled to participate in such an important and significant event, especially in honor of Kushi February, which, as I mentioned yesterday in an occasion, in which Bangladesh really gave an example to the whole world of what it means to really love a language and to really appreciate a literature. I'm going to take the liberty of reading a small text that I have written in order to honor the memory of a poet that has impacted me very much, Qazi Nazrul Islam. I have been honored by the publication of a translation of mine into Spanish of the poetry and the essays, selected poetry and essays of Qazi Nazrul Islam. The title of my text is Poet for the World, the Universality of Qazi Nazrul Islam. While preparing for this talk, my first intention was to create a lecture traditional structure, infused with abundant quotations taken from the choicest scholarly sources available. A few weeks into my work, I was proofreading my text, and then I realized that most of those sources, almost every one among them, were taken from highly respected, highly acclaimed, commonly quoted European and American authors and academicians. This fact gave me pause. Why? Because it made me realize that the path that I had taken was unsuitable. For the subject that I would like to consider today with you has actually very little to do with all those very respected, acclaimed, and commonly quoted authors and academicians. It is safe to assume that none among them was fortunate in the United States and Europe, with very rare forays into other regions of the world. To analyze the universality of Vidrohi-Covey in application of theoretical premises of this kind seem to be not very reasonable. In my opinion, it's better to recur to other, more authentic ways of analysis.